Hello, welcome to the first episode of something which is unnamed as yet. Probably something stupid like JFDI is what it will get called. There will be more to that music set that I did the short version of. I'm producing more patterns for it, more sounds for it, so I can extend that and chop it around and do whatever I want with it. It's a lot of fun to produce, and it's not as difficult as it might look in some ways. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm basically trying to think through how to present ideas that I've been storing up for a long time. It's very, very easy to pull up a Google Keep document and scribble down a bunch of ideas that leap out at me in the middle of the week, with the intention of turning them into a fantastic video with loads of decent production value, which I'm still learning about. And what tends to happen is I put that idea down, I look at it and I go, yeah, that's going to need a bit of work to really make it shine, turn it into something that's interesting to watch. I'm going to need B-roll, I'm going to need some voiceover, maybe a few graphics or some interesting bits of archive footage from somewhere like ArtGrid or something like that, which I don't yet have a subscription to, and so on and so forth. Basically, it turns into I can't do this yet because I'm not good enough. Which is fine. I don't intend to be able to pull off incredible videos from scratch, but what I don't want to do also is not produce anything. What I'd rather do is take this sort of approach that I've managed to pull together for my music production, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. One of the most liberating and interesting things for me that I've come up with is a workflow that allows me to be spontaneous enough and also produce the kind of quality that I want. And that all happened by embracing the idea of performance as being production. This isn't something new. I think I kind of came up with the idea myself, but it wasn't until I heard that a musician called Surgeon, who's, if you're into techno, then you'll know Surgeon, I'm sure. He's very prolific. He's really highly rated, and I agree with that rating. He produces some amazing stuff, but in a video essay that he was doing, or an interview that he was doing, he basically said that he jams and produces. He creates a jam session, records it, and then does very little to the finished jam, and that's his track. And just hearing that come from a professional, somebody who's got so many years in the industry, somebody who produces such high quality stuff, that almost like gave me permission to follow a route that I'd already sort of said to myself, hey, this kind of works. But I'd had in the back of my head those doubts that sort of said to me, no, you can't do it like that. You've got to record it and then edit it, or you've got to take the parts apart and redo them, or you've got to master the whole lot separately. That sort of production mentality of compose, record sessions, strip those back, edit them, and then you've got to mix it separately. You've got to then send it off for mastering, all that kind of stuff that you hear time and time and again. And for a certain type of producer, for a certain type of end product, yeah, that's clearly the way it works. But for me, I found that was the bit that was stopping me from actually producing an end product. What I established for myself was I create a bunch of sounds that I enjoy hearing together. I produce patterns with those sounds that are intriguing, and they sort of play in amongst each other and give me the kind of vibe that I'm after. But I don't necessarily have what's the word I'm looking for? I don't necessarily have an arrangement in mind, or even anything mapped out. What I do is I create those sounds, and then I'll hit record, and then I'll produce the arrangement. just by jamming. And at the end of it, because I've heard those sounds so much in such a short space of time, and I've sort of played with them and got what I feel is what I can out of them, to then have to rework that for the next week or the next sort of even the next few hours, that almost gets to the point where I'm done with it already. I don't want to have to go through that stage. So being able to hit record and play and have enough of a skill set that improvised performance of those sounds. I've lost my train of thought. Being able to just do that performance and have a product at the end of it which is, to my mind, good enough at that time, that is so liberating. And what I'm looping back around to say is all those video ideas that I have stored up and all those video ideas that I want to produce, I really want to get them out there because I think there's a few little nuggets in there that maybe you'll find interesting. I think rather than take so much time and effort and put all the production value that I would like to learn into those and have to spread that out over 6-9 months, a couple of years, while I get to grips with how YouTube works, how all of the editing software works, how all of the ideas of doing animations and stuff, while I try and get all that together, it's just too much for me as a part-time thing and as a passion / hobby. So unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, this is what you're going to get instead. This is going to be a more of a kind of discussion. It's going to be a lot less structured. It's going to be a bit more informal, but I don't think that's a bad thing, hopefully, for some people. When I watch other YouTubers doing their thing, when somebody's just opening up and saying, hey, I've just had this idea, and putting it out in the first kind of first way that occurs to them, albeit with a bit of thought, that's really engaging for me anyway. So hopefully you feel the same. If you do, I would love it if you give me a little bit of an encouragement in the comments. If that doesn't work for you equally, yeah, just type something down there and say, get your act together, learn how to produce, and then come back and tell us what you've got on your mind. I'll take that on board. That's fair enough. A lot of this, a lot of the impetus for this video also has come from another project that I've been following on YouTube and on a Discord channel that I'm a member of. It's fantastic. I'm going to tell you more about that next week. And this is mentioning this now is a way of holding my own feet to the fire to say I am going to produce a video next week of a similar type. But just as a quick spoiler, if you're interested, the thing that I'm going to talk about is called Wisteria, and it's being produced by 3 guys over in the US. One of whom I've sort of followed for a little while. His name's Dan Thron, and he's on another podcast called Martini Giant. I'm not going to say any more than that for the minute because I really want to give those guys a proper introduction and credit them with my encouragement and support in case they ever need that. But yeah, I think they do a fantastic job of opening up their production process, and I'll tell you more about that shortly. So if you've got any ideas of your own, any bits of creative work that you're looking to do, just try it. Plan it, yes, but don't allow the planning process to stop you from taking the next step of actually going ahead and doing it. That, I think, is the message for today from me. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.